Are white bumps on a cat normal? Sorry if this is a stupid question, but I don't know much about cats, and I tried to Google, but nothing really matched what Gremlin has. I work part-time at my dad's garage while I study, and there's this stray, black cat that always lurks around outside. We don't know if it's male or female, but it has long enough, rough fur, and it looks like it's had a pretty tough life. Its ears are torn, its hind legs are at a weird angle, and its tail's even crooked. The other employees shoo it away when they see it, but I don't. On my lunch breaks, I always throw it a little bit of food. At first, it wouldn't eat, but soon it began to trust me, and that made me happy. I named it Gremlin, and soon it learned to come to me when I called it. It took longer for me to let it pet, but today, it finally did. That's when I noticed the white bumps. At first, I jerked my hand away, because I thought they were bugs or something. But Gremlin didn't seem to be in pain, sick, or itchy. So, I put my gloves on and parted the fur on its back for a closer look. I'm not sure how to describe them. They're the size of an average pimple, but they're white, almost pearly. At first, I got grossed out, because I thought they were parasite eggs or something like that. But then I checked all of Gremlin, and these bumps cover its skin completely beneath the fur, like top to bottom, nose to tail. When I poked one, it felt hard, and I could see a small black dot on the top, almost like a pore. I wanted to check Gremlin's mouth, ears, and paws too, but Nash walked out for a cigarette break and kicked at Gremlin, making it run away. Out of everyone who works for my dad, I like Nash the least. He's always belittling me, teasing me, and making barely veiled sexist remarks. I complain to my dad all the time, but he keeps telling me I have to learn to stand up for myself. So when Nash kicked at Gremlin, I exploded at him, but he just laughed like the ass he is and told me the garage is no place for a Disney princess. But he wouldn't mind if I wanted to play with his snake. Furious and disgusted, I slapped him so hard his cigarette went flying out of his mouth. I'd never done something like that before, and I was shaking as I ran to my dad. Finally, he came to his senses and fired Nash. I didn't see Gremlin the rest of the day, though, and I really hope Nash didn't scare it away for good, because I'm worried about those bumps. Will I need to take it to the vet? I'd appreciate some advice. I'm also going to the garage in case Gremlin returns, so I can take photos of the bumps. I just want to make sure it's okay. Guys, I'm scared, and I don't know what to do. I'm in my car outside the garage, and I was vibing to music, waiting for Gremlin to show up. And I saw Nash's car park a distance away. He had walked over, and I felt my heart drop to my feet when I saw him pull up his hood and mask to put on gloves. I'm beyond grateful it was dark enough for him not to notice my car, and I held my breath as I watched him break into the garage. We have security cameras, but no alarm, so I called the police immediately. They said they'd be here within 10 minutes and told me to drive somewhere safe. I was ready to do that because I could hear Nash breaking things inside and didn't want to imagine what he would do to me for getting him fired. But just before I could turn the key, I saw Gremlin run inside the garage. Guys, if Nash sees Gremlin, there's no doubt he'll hurt it or even kill it. I'm thinking I'm go in and tell him I called the cops. Maybe that'll scare him enough to run. Or maybe I can honk the horn to distract him. Oh God, I don't know what to do. This evening has been... I don't know how to describe it. I'm still shaken. I'm in an ambulance now, and they're telling me to put the phone down and rest. But I need answers. It might have been a stupid idea, but I honked the horn. I didn't know what I expected other than Nash barging out with his crowbar held up. I should have started the car and drove off. Had him follow me. Instead, I yelled through the closed window that I knew it was him and I had called the cops. My voice was shaking like crazy, and I don't think he even heard me properly because instead of running away, he stomped over and swung his crowbar right at my window. The glass cracked. I screamed and jerked away, my panicked hand searching for the key. I screamed again when Nash jumped on the hood and shattered my windshield. I dropped my phone as I tried to shield my face from the exploding shards. Scrambling away, I squeezed myself into the back seat, my heart hammering as I had barely avoided Nash reaching in for me. I turned to the door, ready to whip it out and run out, only to scream even louder at the silhouette charging toward us from the garage. I don't even know how to describe it. It was the size of a horse, but it moved like a spider with a billion legs. Those legs swished and whipped from every angle, almost like vines, making the creature seem weightless as it zoomed toward us. Nash noticed it too late, and one of his legs shot up, wrapped around his ankles, yanking him off my car. He landed with a sickening crack on the asphalt, making a croaking sound I wish to never, ever hear again. Trembling, I peered through the window, and my stomach turned as I watched those legs wrap themselves around Nash. He wasn't moving, but he was alive. The last thing I saw of him was the panic in his eyes before he was completely covered. Vomit burned my throat as I sat there, cowering in the back seat. I didn't know what to do. I was afraid. If I make a run for it, it would be faster than me. But if I stayed put, I was an easy target for it to notice. I lost my chance at a choice when the creature whipped its legs around my car, pulling it towards it. I screamed and I bounced around inside, terrified that this would be the way I died. The more legs that covered my car, the darker it became. Soon, I was hyperventilating in pitch darkness. Thanks to Nash, the windshield was broken, and I had sobbed as I maniacally jerked away from the coarse legs sliding over my body, weaving in my hair. The smell of an extinguished candle filled the car, and a strange drumming seemed to be echoing my rapid heartbeat. I expected each frantic breath to be my last, until the sound of sirens broke through my despair. Not a few seconds later, the legs drew back, like paint dripping backwards, and the car bounced down, free. I collapsed in the back seat, breathless and shaking. My father and the police found me, alone, with no trace of the creature or Nash. I tried to tell them what happened, but even I wouldn't have believed it myself. I insisted that we install security cameras. But as we walked indoors, we noticed that multiple cameras inside and out were broken. I assumed Nash did it, but I was wrong. As we watched the footage, we could see Nash breaking into the garage and smashing things left and right. Then we saw Gremlin slink inside. With all the commotion, I'd almost forgotten about it, and I began to worry that the creature devoured it too. I jumped when a black line streaked across the screen of one of our indoor cameras, cracking the lens before the feed disappeared. This happened to a few more cameras, a distance from Nash, so it couldn't have been him. He didn't even seem to notice, too preoccupied with his own destruction. After 4 cameras broke, Nash turned towards the car. That must have been when I leaned on the horn. We watched him stomp outside and begin smashing my car. I sat up, my pulse racing, as I waited for the creature to appear. Instead, all we got were black streaks that broke the feed. I don't know what to say. Neither did anyone else. But everyone agreed that I should go to the hospital to get my injuries checked out, to get help with the trauma. As I was being led to the ambulance, I noticed a shadow on the roof of the garage, and my eyes went wide with relief at the sight of Gremlin. It was perched on the corner, eyes reflecting the red and blue lights around us, and my jaw fell open when it swished its tail. Or tails? Many vine-like tails. I blinked, and it was just a regular tail. One singular, fluffy, crooked tail. My heart thudded. Maybe I imagined it. It's possible, after everything that just happened. But is it possible I didn't imagine it? I know it sounds crazy. But I just want answers.